Ah, le premier album de... Oh, French,
Yes,
English.
sorry.
Pardon, okay. First time I played in Coachella, Romy from the XX came to talk to me after my performance with Savages. And I had no idea she was into my music, because my music was really like punk and violent, and the XX are obviously very much more minimalist. But she was really into it, and we became friends. And actually, she ended up co-writing some of the songs for my record. And what I love about Romy's voice is that she's so, I believe her, you know, she's so on point. I started music by learning jazz, and I had a teacher who would teach me every Saturdays jazz piano and vocals, and that's how I learned to speak English actually. And I was told I used to sing like Chet Baker, so obviously now my voice is much louder, but at the time when I was around 8 years old I used to sing like Chet Baker. Yeah, he was a big influence for me, for sure. I like that artwork. My first project, I would say, the duo I had with Johnny Hostile. We did 2 records, and that was the first one. It was our friend tattooist who did the cover. Yeah, I'm really proud of this. I mean, it's a great memory. It was, we did everything ourselves at the time. It was all DIY. It was all carrying the gear ourselves in the rain, in the snow, in the heat. When I met Johnny Hostile, he taught me how to build drums, how to record myself, how to do edits, how to use a mic, how a desk worked, and so it became really creative for me to make music. Up to that point, my only creative tools had been a pen and a paper, but John and Jen for me was a big learning experience on how to be creative with music. Damon Albarn had asked me to sing on one of the songs. It was strange, like the first time I went to Damon's studio in London, it was one of the most intimidating experiences I've ever had, because Damon is sort of, if I have to use an analogy, he's like a fast train that never stops. It's moving forward, and if you want to be part of the train, you have to jump in. Placebo was one of my first loves in music. The first 2 records, I listened to them to death. I was probably 10 or 13 years old, and I loved Brian Molko because in interviews he would talk about his own sexuality and his bisexuality, and I didn't really have many role models at the time who would speak about alternative ways of loving. And I went to see them at La Route du Rock when I was 13, and I threw a book on his guitar. And he was really upset, and he was everywhere in the news the next day, so I was really proud. My new record, To Love Is To Live, was really highly influenced by Black Star, and especially I remember very well when Bowie passed away. I was in LA, and around 3 a.m. I woke up, pick up my phone, and I saw that he was, gone. And I played Lazarus, one of the tracks in Black Star, and I understood that he was suddenly now speaking to me from beyond. And the record took a whole new dimension, and it just reminded me of mortality and the fact that the work that you create will outlive you. And I wanted to make a record trying to remember that when I made the record. I remember when we made the artwork, and I wanted to have a text written in the front because I wanted the artwork to be like the old jazz records. So I wrote this manifesto about silencing yourself, the fact that we are constantly distracted by outside stimulus and we can never really focus. And because you can't focus, you can't really start any revolution, artistically or otherwise. PG Harvey was one of my first heroes who actually came to talk to me and gave me a phone number and told me that if I needed anything, she would be there for me. And we became friends over the years, and she's been quite instrumental actually for me to make my solo record. She believed in me before I did, so she means a lot to me. It was such a renaissance of guitar music at the time. I remember we were coming out of the sort of triple P era with Massive Attack and Portishead, which I loved, but then suddenly Strokes arrived and it was guitar again. And Julien Casablanca did a track with me that we released together called Boy Girl. I didn't believe I could make this record. I'm glad it's out in the world now. I'm glad it can belong to other people because I've been carrying it for so long. Even though it's not my first record, because it's my fifth with different projects, it feels like the first one, and that's exactly how I wanted it to feel. Because I love feeling like I'm starting from scratch again, and I'm committing to something before I know how to do it.